Hi friends, I'm Tina. Welcome back to Whispering Cottage Home. Today, we're stepping inside the look of a beautiful Victorian home, where rich colour, graceful furniture, patterned fabrics, polished wood, and treasured old pieces come together in a way that feels elegant without feeling untouchable. And as we look around, I'll share 5 decorating ideas you can borrow for your own home, even if you don't live in a Victorian house. We'll talk about choosing colour, mixing patterns, arranging furniture, displaying collections, and using those finishing details that make a room feel full of character but still beautifully cared for. You don't need a major home renovation or an expensive room makeover to capture this feeling. Sometimes the smallest home improvement choices can completely change the personality of a room. Before we begin, I'd love to know, do you have an old piece of furniture, china, artwork, or family treasure that instantly makes your home feel more special? One of the easiest lessons to borrow from Victorian interior design is the confident use of colour. Instead of scattering many unrelated colours through a room, begin with one main shade and let it appear several times. A deep cranberry sofa, for example, might connect beautifully with cranberry roses in a rug, a small stripe in the curtains, and the border of a framed print. Then bring in quieter supporting colours, such as cream, warm gold, moss green, dusty blue, or soft ivory. That repetition is what makes a colourful room feel intentional rather than busy. If you're trying this at home, choose your strongest colour first. Then look for 2 or 3 places where you can repeat it in smaller amounts: a cushion, a lampshade, a vase of flowers, or even the mat around a favourite piece of artwork. This is one of those home decor ideas that works just as well in a cottage living room as it does in a grand Victorian parlour. And once the colour story feels connected, it becomes much easier to bring in pattern. Victorian-inspired rooms often look beautifully layered because the patterns aren't all competing at the same scale. Imagine a sofa covered in a medium floral print. Beside it, you might have a smaller striped chair, a finely patterned Persian-style rug, and curtains with a quieter botanical design. The secret is variety. If every fabric has a large dramatic pattern, the eye doesn't know where to rest. But when one pattern is bold, another is medium, and another is small, everything settles into place. You can use this same decorating idea with vintage home decor you already own. Maybe you have floral curtains that you love. Instead of adding another large floral on the sofa, try a narrow stripe, a small check, or a solid velvet cushion that picks up one of the curtain colours. For an affordable home upgrade, even changing 2 or 3 pillow covers can help an older room feel more thoughtfully designed. The goal isn't to make everything match. It's to make the pieces look as though they belong to the same story. Now let's look at the furniture, because ornate details are most attractive when the room still feels comfortable and easy to move through. A carved walnut sideboard, a graceful settee, a marble-topped table, or a polished wood cabinet can become the visual anchor of a room. But you don't need every piece to be ornate. In fact, 1 or 2 special pieces often stand out more when they're surrounded by simpler furniture. If you have a beautiful antique chest or an inherited table, give it a little breathing room. Place a lamp, a framed photograph, and perhaps a small arrangement of fresh flowers on top, rather than covering every inch. This creates that collected, not cluttered feeling we love so much. And think about furniture placement too. A conversation area feels inviting when chairs are turned slightly toward one another instead of simply lining the walls. Even without buying anything new, moving a chair closer to the sofa or bringing an occasional table between two seats can make the room feel more welcoming. I'd love to hear from you here. If you could bring one Victorian-inspired piece into your home, would you choose a carved cabinet, a velvet chair, a pretty side table, or an old china cupboard? Rich colours are beautiful, but they need enough light around them to keep the room cheerful. That's where lamps, mirrors, glass, and polished finishes become so helpful. A traditional table lamp with a pleated cream shade can soften a dark wood corner. A gilded or carved wood mirror can reflect light from a window. Crystal, polished brass, porcelain, and glass can add just enough sparkle without making the room feel formal. For practical home improvement, think in layers rather than relying on one bright ceiling fixture. A table lamp beside a reading chair, another on a sideboard, and natural daylight from the windows will usually make a room feel far more comfortable in the evening. You can also place a mirror where it reflects something attractive, a window, a floral arrangement, or a pretty section of the room rather than hanging it randomly. These small decorating ideas bring life to deeper wall colours and darker vintage furniture. And once the lighting feels right, we can add the treasures that make the room personal. A Victorian-inspired home can hold plenty of beautiful objects without looking crowded. The trick is to create small groups and leave a little space between them. On a sideboard, you might arrange 3 pieces together: a porcelain bowl, a framed family photograph, and a small brass candlestick. On a shelf, you could group several leather-bound books with a little covered dish or a pair of decorative boxes. China can be especially beautiful when displayed by colour. A few rose-patterned plates, for instance, have more impact when grouped together instead of being scattered throughout several rooms. This is where good home organisation becomes part of decorating. Keep your favorite pieces visible and rotate the rest. You don't have to display every treasure at the same time. Look through your cupboards, china cabinet, or linen closet before shopping. You may already own a pretty tray, embroidered cloth, vintage bowl, framed picture, or old book that deserves a more noticeable place. Fresh flowers are a lovely finishing touch too. Roses, snapdragons, sweet peas, or garden greenery can soften all the carved wood and pattern while bringing a little movement and freshness into the room. That final combination, colour, pattern, furniture, lighting, and meaningful objects is what makes the space feel complete. What I love most about Victorian-inspired decorating is that it reminds us a beautiful home doesn't have to be empty or perfectly matched. It can hold colour, it can hold pattern, it can hold old furniture, family photographs, flowers, books, china, and memories. The secret is simply giving each piece a reason to be there. If today's home decor ideas gave you a little inspiration for your own rooms, please give this video a like and subscribe to Whispering Cottage Home. And in the comments, tell me about one old treasure in your home that you would never want to part with. Thank you for spending this time with me, friends. I'm Tina, and I'll see you next time here at Whispering Cottage Home.